After learning the various concepts of production, that is total production, marginal production and average production, now we have to talk about the most important topic of this particular unit, that is the short-term production function, right? Remember, short-term production function is a function where some factors are fixed and some factors are variable. Fixed factor is capital and variable factor is labor. Just take an example of a factory. Suppose it is working 8 hours a day. Working 8 hours a day with 50 laborers and producing total output of 200 units along with 4 machines employed in the particular factory, right? Now suppose this particular factory gets an order of say 800 units to be supplied within say 2 days. Right? So how would we increase, so first question is that can this factory complete this order, right? Some of you might say yes, some of you might say no, but most of you would agree that it can complete this order, right? This order can be completed. Just imagine, suppose it was your firm, right, your factory, and you get this particular order. Now you can increase your production by two ways. There are two ways. One is you bring 4 more machines, right? So you can double your production. You can produce 400 units in one day and 800 units in 2 days. But I don't think that would be a good idea, because these orders I not get every day, right? So the better option is that I bring more labor. And remember, we are studying the short-term production function, where theoretically also you cannot increase the fixed factor. What I do is I bring 50 more labor, make them work 8 additional hours, right? So I can produce now 400 units per day, and I can complete the order in 2 days. So short-term production function is all about this particular study, that how this production is increased while keeping the one factor, that is the fixed factor, constant, and increasing only one factor, that is the variable factor. Now we simply have to understand that both these variable and fixed factors, both are important for production. You need both the fixed factor as well as the variable factor. Combination of both will work. One single cannot produce anything, right? For example, if you have only machines, no labor, then also you cannot produce anything. While if you have only labor but not the machine, then also you cannot produce anything, right? Both are required. Now see, again same, we take this example of that particular factory. Well, it was a feasible idea to do that for 2 days or maybe 4 days, but not every day, right? Production cannot be sold. And similarly, what happens when I keep increasing the variable factor? This I am increasing labor, I am bringing on more labor, right? But I am not able to increase the number of machines with me, or the capital factor, fixed factor. Now just take an example. Suppose I had 4 machines and I had 50 laborers working in my factory. Now I increase the number of labor, maybe say 51, 52, and maybe say 80, and maybe say 100. So now you can see what is happening. The availability of the fixed factor is decreasing. For example, you had 50 machines and 50 labor. So this was the ratio, right? Then you had 4 machines and 51 labor. Then you had 4 machines and 80 labor. So availability of the fixed factor. See, whenever I write a particular line on the board, I always tell you that there is some reason behind writing it. Availability of the fixed factor per unit of the variable factor decreases. That is the core of the short-term production function, okay? This is the main thing that we have to study. Because see, what will happen? It will create certain problems, right? You all would agree that when the availability of the fixed factor is decreasing, then the then some of the problems might creep into my production, right? This topic I am explaining to you in a lot of detail because it is the most important part of this unit. If you understand this, only then you can understand the unit further, right? In the chapter of cost, revenue, producer equilibrium, everywhere this concept is used. Universal concept. Okay, so this is the core of the whole thing, right? So what happens now, we will study this particular concept with the help of marginal product and total product, right? So what happens, first of all we talk about the marginal product, right? You remember marginal product is the output which per additional labor you are getting when you increase, or simply when you are increasing your labor by 1 unit, how much production that is added by that particular labor. So what happens, and one more thing we have to just look back into the same thing, the practical concept of the factory which we were talking about. Remember that no person would, whenever you start a business, like for example you want to again say start a factory, okay, which should have 4 machines and 50 labor. You all must agree that on the first day, and say output of 200 units per day. Same example we are taking which we were talking about. Now from the first day, do you think that I'll operate with 50 labor and with 200 output, or maybe on the second day, maybe on the third day, or maybe for 1 or 2 months of my business? Because first thing that I will not get this much of sales in the market because I'm starting something new, right? Or I'll always, and I plan to do the business in the long run. If you have done, learnt accounting, you must have also learned the concept of accounting, which is known as the long run concept. It means every business is started for a long run. So now what I do is I have some extra installed availability of the fixed factor. The fixed factor in the initial stages remains unutilized. When we started the business, like suppose if I had to start this coaching center, I started with the capacity of say 30 students, but on the first day I not have 30 students, right? So same thing, same lies in all the market, in all the production processes, that you will not start the first day with the full installed capacity. Or you again have to remember, this is again an important word, right? That some fixed factor is unutilized. Now what I do is, now as I increase the variable factor, that unutilized part starts getting utilized. So in the initial stage my marginal product may increase, but after some time what will happen, that the same concept, the lack of the shortage of the fixed factor will lead to fall in the marginal product. This is the most important law of this particular whole unit, for producer equilibrium, and it is known as the law of variable proportions. Okay, and what does it state? It simply states that if you increase the production by increasing the variable factor while keeping the fixed factor constant, that means in the short run, then the marginal product of your labor, of your variable factor, may initially rise, but ultimately it has to decline, right? Now based on this same concept, we have the 3 phases of production. Means every production unit will go through 3 phases or 3 stages of production. Again, very important concept, very important topic. First is the stage of increasing returns. Stage of increasing returns, as the name says, increasing returns. The return where my marginal product is increasing. and my total product will increase at an increasing rate. Okay, we'll talk about this in detail, what is increasing rate, when we do this numerically. Okay, for now you have to just understand that marginal product rises and the total product increases at an increasing rate. Second is the stage of diminishing returns. In the second stage, MP starts declining, but it remains positive, and TP increases at an diminishing rate. And the third stage is the stage of negative returns. Again, as the name says, MP becomes negative and TP starts falling. Okay, this is the important topic, and all these three stages are reflecting the three phases of production which every unit will face: the increasing returns, diminishing returns and negative returns. Now we have to understand this numerically, and numerically only you can understand it better. Okay, for the numerical example we have the units of fixed factor, then units of the variable factor, then total product and marginal product. Okay, again, as we have already learned that here the fixed factor remains constant.